Are we good? I think we're good. Let's do it, people. Get that out of here. Let's go. Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. You're tuned in to Progressive Day. Okay. Okay. Gut check time. Gut check time. That's what time it is, guys. Come on. Come on. Are you ready? What's up, Facebook Live? How you doing? YouTube, how you doing? Tim Black's Wolfpack in the house. Ow! All right. Shout out to Gina for those great pictures that you sent me, Gina. Thank you so much. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Tim Black Wolfpack t-shirt and turquoise tank top, guys. They got to sell on tank tops, too. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for it, guys? Are you ready to get into it? Because you know what? This is why you subscribe to this channel. This is why we're here. This is why you are on my team. This is why you are Tim Black's Wolfpack. Because of moments like this. See, when things are going well and everything's easy breezy, it don't matter who you're with. It doesn't matter who you're with when things are going well. When everything's just easy breezy. And there's smiling, everybody's smiling. We got a chicken for every pot, a bottle of wine for every family. Everything's cool. Doesn't matter who you're with. It's when things get tough. It's when you got adversity that you need somebody in your corner. That be this guy. Bernie Sanders pledges to stay in the race. Yes, he does. He will stay in the race. And I'm kind of upset. Not kind of. That's a wishy-washy word. I am upset and sorely disappointed in some of my counterparts. My people out there who think, oh my God, what's Bernie going to do? They were actually on pins and needles on several networks last night as Bernie began to give his speech. Because unlike I and you, they thought he was lying when he said he would go all the way to the convention. They thought it was a lie, guys, because that's what they're used to. They're used to politicians saying one thing and doing another. I kept saying it and saying it to the point where some people were disappointed in me. They're like, well, Tim, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. I said, no. Bernie said he would stay to the convention. He would go through to the convention. He's been saying that for months. Now when it's time to go through to the convention, you think he's going to change his tune. And in fact, hey, look, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. Jack Yuger said, he said, Bernie should drop out. That's what he should do. Oh, he gave a lot of reasons for it. One of the reasons would be because he's a lying bastard. But okay. See, that's what you do when you are a politician and you don't care about the people. You care about yourself. You want to make sure your job's secure. You want to make sure people got the love for you. All that crap, right? All right. Here's the deal, guys. Bernie Sanders pledges to stay in the race. Santa Monica, California, CNN. This is what he announced. Despite a night of disappointing losses, Bernie Sanders vowed Tuesday to continue his campaign and to take his fight all the way to the convention in Philadelphia. None should be surprised by this. While Hillary Clinton secured the delegates she needed Monday, they're still pushing that narrative. Still got to keep on pushing it. They're not making it any better for for Hillary Clinton pulling over Bernie Sanders supporters by lying about the number of delegates. Hillary won, stop, hold on. Hillary won some states last night. She did not win the nomination. Right? We know this, right? So that goes back to my whole thing was, why did you think Bernie was going to drop out? She didn't win the nomination. If she got 2,382 delegates last night, if that's what her total was of pledged delegates, he was going to still keep going. That was his pact. He don't have a super PAC. He has a pact with the people. People like you and I. These are the people that has carried him this far. I'm surprised so many people were surprised that he stayed in the race. Let me keep going. The crowd, look at it. Hillary Clinton became the presumptive nominee in the minds of the delusional. Sanders channeled the defiance of his supporters as he took the stage. Channeled the defiance of his supporters. He channeled it. Who wrote this garbage? The crowd was on edge, angry with the press and worried that he would give in to the growing pressure from Democratic leaders to bow out of the race. Yeah. But it wasn't long before it became clear from his remarks that his movement, a campaign that has given Clinton more of a fight than anyone predicted and forced the Democratic Party to the left, would carry on at least through the final primary Tuesday in Washington, D.C. All of you know that when we began this campaign over a year ago, we were considered to be a fringe campaign. Over the last year, I think this has changed a little bit. Bernie said that the crowd thundered with approval. Let me thank you all for being a part of the political revolution, Sanders said. We understand our mission is more than just beating Donald Trump. It is transforming our country. The Vermont senator said he had spoken to President Barack Obama and to Clinton, though the crowd booed when he said he had offered her his congratulations on her victories Tuesday night. He noted his victories in North Dakota and Montana and said he believed the gap between would close. That's it. Oh, you were expecting him to break down blubbering on the stage or him to take his clothes off and run around like a chicken? What was he supposed to do? Bark at the moon? What was he supposed to do? He said, okay, see you next week. See you next week. You know, we got work to do. I mean, if you're in it not just to be, it's my turn, but if you're in it to actually change the country and you're here to spearhead the revolution, and revolution is sorely needed in American politics, in America in general, then yeah, did something change? I keep saying it, guys. There are people that just don't get it. Let me say it one last. I'm not even gonna say it's gonna be the last time because I'm sure there's gonna be people who don't listen, and just won't get it. Listen, nothing has changed between last night and 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, or 3 months ago, or 6 months ago. Nothing has changed. Nothing. The people who think something's changed don't realize they don't have any information. That they watch CNN and they go, thank you for telling me what I want to know, Costello. Thank you for telling me those lies. I appreciate them. Thank you for lying to me, Rachel. You're so great when you lie to me, Rachel, MSNBC lady. Thank you, Chris Hayes, for lying. Thank you, Chris Matthews with Blitzer, Van Jones, all of you for lying through your teeth for me to make me feel better about us stealing an election. Thank you for lying. That is it, guys. At the end of the day, that's all it will be, is a bunch of lies. Bernie Sanders is going to stay in this thing all the way. I told you he was going to stay in this thing all the way. He didn't care that Barack Obama, the president of the United States, called him up and said, hey, what you want to do? What you want to do? What you mean what I want to do, Barack? Did all of a sudden campaign finance change? Did someone change the campaign finance rules? Did all of a sudden we adopt a new strategy in dealing with foreign nations so that we do not intervene and try to do regime change via force? Did we stop fracking? Did we decriminalize marijuana? No, didn't. I don't think we did. Oh, okay, we did. Oh, so it sounds awful lot to me like we still got work to do. That's what it sounds like. I mean, none of the things. This is what people don't get. See, and this is the thing we got to get to, folks. And this is why you tuned in to Tim Black. Listen, guys, the difference between a Hillary supporter and a Bernie Sanders supporter is one very fundamental difference. Get it down, write it down. They're in it for Hillary. We're in it for the issues. They're in it for her. We're in it for the issues. We're in it for the things that we care about. They're in it for themselves, particularly the women. We're in it for the issues that we want to see resolved, the change we need in this country, and they're in it because, she can win. They're in it for, stop Trump, and we're in it for the issues, the problems, the concerns. They don't even know enough about the concerns to be into it for that. They don't even know the issues. The most horrible thing about being surrounded by Hillary supporters, so I hear, because I'm not surrounded by any of them. And when I keep looking, I'm out with a magnifying glass looking for a bunch of Hillary supporters who are electrified. There are delusional people who feel that someone's sex has to do with how they will govern. These are delusional people who believe these things. They believe that because she has breasts that she will govern better. Well, let's try this. She's a woman. She's different. Well, he's a Jewish man. That's not different enough. We want women different. And she's got scandal after scandal after scandal, and she's under indictment. There could be an indictment for her tomorrow. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So see, that's the thing, guys. When you think that way, when a person thinks that way, when you can overlook impending indictments, when you can overlook scandal after scandal after scandal, when you can overlook flip-flop after flip-flop after flip-flop, and your only response is, well, other people flip-flop, other people do this, other people do that. And I said, well, Bernie Sanders doesn't do that. I don't care. That proves what I'm saying, folks, and it is clear as the sky is blue, grass is green, water is wet. Wind makes your hair move if you got it. The major fundamental difference between a Hillary Clinton supporter and a Bernie Sanders supporter is that we are here for the issues. We are concerned about issues, not just personality. This is not about identities. This is about realities of our nation, of our world. That's the difference. And unfortunately, we have a bunch of reality. This is all our fault. This is reality TV's fault. This is mainstream media's fault. Corporate sellout, spokesmodel, paid spokesman, model news instead of truth, reality news. This is people going along with the curve, people saying Bernie should drop out, who have our trust, throw it away, talk fast, try to cover their butt cheeks. And until we get that, man, I shudder to think what's going to happen with this country. It's not going to get better when people don't look out for their own best interests and are clouded by superficiality. Superficiality. Ooh, that's a big word. When the superficialness of themselves, man, all they care about is the way something looks. What about what it's consistent of? And that's the deal, guys. So, hey, Bernie Sanders, all the way to the convention. Help me get to the convention too, guys. All right. Follow this link over here on the screen. It should be on the screen at this point. Follow that link. I'm going with your help. I got to cover it. All right. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Bernie Sanders is staying in the race, but it's not without a lot of pressure. Oh, man, it's like I don't know, man. It's like The weight of the world on his shoulders, I'm sure. I'm sure there are, a room full of heavy obese people leaning on you at one time. The whole world is on your shoulders. Everyone's leaning on you. Kids nagging you. Dad, can we go get some ice cream? Dad, can we get ice cream? That's how they're doing Bernie Sanders right now. Senate colleagues mount pressure on Bernie Sanders to stand down now. Now that Hillary Clinton has reached the magic number of fantasy delegates to secure the Democratic nomination for president, the question on the minds of many Senate Democrats is, when is Bernie going to call it quits? Sanders has repeatedly declared that he intends to remain in the race through the Democratic National Convention in July. He's meeting with President Obama on Thursday to discuss significant issues at stake in this election. According to the White House, the president called the candidate Tuesday night to thank him for running an energizing campaign. Meanwhile, he called Hillary Clinton to congratulate her on clinching the Democratic nomination. And over in the Senate, it's getting awkward. In a chamber where members go out of their way to avoid directly chastising each other, the low simmering annoyance with Sanders for staying in the contest is palpable. I think he should stand down. That's my conclusion, said Democrat Bill Nelson of Florida. I believe he is uniquely positioned to be able to be a unifier. As Trump's rhetoric heats up against Clinton, many Democrats don't want her distracted by ongoing feuding with the Sanders campaign. And some of Sanders' Senate colleagues are taking note of each day he insists on competing instead of unifying. If President Obama endorses Clinton, as he's expected to as soon as this week, and Sanders refuses to concede, Nelson says it'll be a miscalculation. That's another reason that Bernie will have from a pretty big guy saying, you ought to stand down. Become a unifier now, said Nelson. How Sanders handles the coming weeks and months could directly impact the goodwill and therefore clout he'll enjoy in the chamber should he return. At the moment, Democratic leaders are gingerly giving the senator space to figure out his next steps. Bernie Sanders is going to make decisions on his own, said Minority Leader Harry Reid. If he calls me and asks me for advice, I'll give it. In the meantime, I'm not giving any advice to the Sanders folks. But other Senate Democrats say the way the Sanders campaign is defiantly carrying on could jeopardize the senator's influence if he tries to reshape his role in the Senate when he rejoins them. It's very interesting. I wonder how much influence he had before this. What they don't understand is that Bernie Sanders' influence is because he has the will of the people, which can determine if you have a job, Mr. Nelson. Yeah. I can make 5 videos about you, Mr. Nelson, and some people will watch some of them, as long as I don't use your name, because no one knows who you are really. It all depends on what he does now, said Democrat Dianne Feinstein of California. It all depends if he's willing to be a team player and willing to come together and help the party move on and not create a problem. Yeah, just shut up, Bernie. Just shut it up, Bernie. We over here taking money, man. We're over here living like rock stars, Bernie. Yo, all this time, Bernie, I'm over here stacking the paper. We ain't keeping it straight in line, baby. And we got you over there spouting off, man. You can't be talking like that, Bernie, man. Come on, Bernie. All this time, man, me and my wife, man, we just clipping up this cheddar, baby. That's what you need to do, baby. Come on, man. I know you want to chill out. Feinstein said what especially concerned her was her name was Feinstein. No, it was that Sanders' campaign's plans to try to flip superdelegates at the July convention. She called the effort divisive and in and of itself. Was it divisive when superdelegates lined up behind Hillary before they knew who else was in the race? And were you then saying that, Miss Feinstein? Uh-oh, we just showed your bias. Don't go exposing my bias. I don't think he'll be successful. I think it's a useless effort, sort of like my career, said Feinstein. And I think in the time it's going to take to do that, what we need to do is put the two candidates together and have them make love on a bearskin rug. And forget about the issues. Screw the issues. We don't need issues like we don't need tissues. We air dry. We'll have them march onto a general election together. Dun, 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 holding hands. And in the months to come, Sanders' colleagues will be watching how generously he shares his massive email list to raise money. Yeah, raise money. Thanks, Bernie. Way to go, pal. Could you give us some money? I know we've ignored you and disrespected you in the entire election. Treated you like crap. But you got any money? Come on, man. I know you got a few dollars just laying around, bruh. Holla at me. That's what it's all about. That's why they like Clinton. You got some money? You got some people that can help me get some money. I mean, I really need a few dollars. You know, my gas tank don't run today on gas money tomorrow. I need some money. While we're concerned about our future, while we're concerned about college, where young people are joining the armed forces and coming home in body bags and pieces of them not coming back with them, all to get a college education, they're concerned about money. No, far be it from you to have to go out, build a constituency, have ideas that are bold, that attract people, actually be a good politician and an excellent speaker, to inspire people to come out and watch you and then want to give to you. Far be it from you, Miss Feinstein, to have to do that like everyone else should have to do. No, we'll just let Bernie go it alone and be ridiculed and spat at by the establishment for months, and then have him just play nice and shut up, and then give you his email list and say, go annoy the hell out of my people. Go ahead. That's what's going on, guys. Let's push through this, shall we? This is good. This is rich. Gut check time, people. Gut check. His fundraising network has broken records. There goes the money part again. For small contributions for presidential candidates. John Tester of Montana, who chairs the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, says he's not worried. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're not worried. Bernie's always been very good about helping us when we've asked, Tester said. But he added that Sanders needs to jump out of the race before the July convention. I know Bernie, and Bernie's going to do the right thing. And when the time is right for Bernie, Bernie is going to get on board. Get on board, Bernie. How he handles the endorsement or the endorsement of Hillary and moving forward, getting on board, that's going to make a difference to some. Despite the hard-charging tone of his campaign, Sanders has given some colleagues the impression that he wants very much to be in their good graces. Really? I didn't know he cared. He called me a few weeks ago, out of the blue, said Dick Durbin of Illinois, the second highest ranking Democrat in the Senate. My impression was that he reached out because he believes that someday he'll be coming home to the Senate. And I think he wants to be part of the Senate and its future. You do for me. Yeah, I don't do you. Come on. You want me to do for you, but you're not doing for me, Bernie. We need you to have a seat, Bernie. Yeah, we've been talking, Bernie. We need you to go along with this thing. Or if not, things can happen, Bernie. Bad things. Durbin said Sanders could play a tremendously influential role in helping shape the party's agenda. He's ticked off all the policy priorities where Sanders and the Democrats' leadership overlap. Income equality, college affordability, Wall Street reform, and climate change. I think Bernie's agenda is very close to our party's agenda, and I think we should be working with him, said Durbin. But Durbin added the size of Sanders' role would depend largely on how he handles the winding down of his campaign. Let me tell you, that is a critical element, said Durbin. Hardy, har. So, let me get this right. So, the things that Bernie's been fighting for are things the Democrats have been fighting for, right? Is that true? Then why haven't those things come to pass? I'm just saying, I mean, if there's all these things that this income equality, why don't we have it? Oh, I know. Donors. Climate change, that's an issue. Why are we fracking? Why'd Hillary promote it? Isn't she part of the Democratic Party? And then why'd you support her? See, part of the reason why Bernie is in the position he's in right now is because you guys didn't support him. You supported Hillary, even though she doesn't support the things that you say the Democratic Party is about. It's all BS, guys. All BS. Bernie Sanders. They want to twist his arm at this point, guys. They want to tell him, hey, we got your old job waiting for you. We'll even give you the keys. You can lock up the place. But you got to come back now. Have a seat. Oh, you got to simmer down all this radical talking about changing the system. Don't you know that's how we eat around here? Come on, Bernie. I know you understand how things work. I'd hate for something to happen to you. None of us want that, Bernie. We want you, to live a nice, long life. How's Jane, by the way? How's she doing? She okay? The kids. You got some pretty grandkids. It would be a shame. Oh, shudder to think. I mean, my children, if something were to happen to them, I don't know what I'd do. Bernie, I'm confident that you will see things clearly our way. Now, you just go ahead and you stay in the race for another couple days. I'm sure at the end of it all, you'll see it our way. And you'll know that sometimes it's over. You be good now. Take care. It sounds like a weird, scary mafia type thing happening, right? Well, that's what's going on, guys. That's what they're telling Bernie Sanders right now. And it's, will he break? Will he buckle? This is what they left out the entire equation, guys. Bernie don't give a damn. Yeah, they left that part out. He don't care. Maybe he just want to go home, chill out with Jane, and just say, you know what, screw the Democrats. Maybe I'll just go back to being independent, which I was before, and I just go back to doing what I was doing. I mean, I am in the twilight of my life now. Who says I need this job? Maybe I don't want this job. Maybe I don't want to be around you guys. I never liked you, Dick Durbin. Feinstein, who are you? Get off me. Get off my phone. You come for me and Tim Black will make a video about you every hour on the hour. This thing got 18 million views on it. I talk about everybody. I had Tim Black talk about everybody, including your mama. Rest her soul. See, people are not factoring in reality here. They think Bernie's some upstart kid who's going, oh my God, I won't be able to ride my horsey. I'm not going to be able to go skiing with Bud and Jiff, with Biff and Jiff. Oh no, Brad and Elroy and Jenny and Penny and Sarah Lou. I'm not going to be able to go hiking with them. Oh no, I won't have the money to buy the yacht with the golden encrusted stern wheel. You know, some people have this thing. You may have heard of it. It's called ethics. You haven't heard of it? Oh, I'm not surprised because you don't have any. Some people have convictions. You know, sort of like convictions. The one Hillary, like handing out to black people, you know, for like getting them upset. Look, guys, we're going to bring it down a notch. All right. So you may be wondering, how did we get to this point? You're like, Tim Black, well, what happened in California, Tim Black? Give me substance, Tim Black. I know what happened. They stole the election. But please tell me how they stole it. What happened, Tim Black? Well, let me tell you all the stuff they're not talking about on mainstream media. I hope you stayed this long enough to hear it. Want to hear it? Here it goes. It was just chaos. Broken machines, incomplete voter rolls, leave some wondering whether their ballots will count. That's right, guys. Voter suppression. Oh, did I do that? Oh, the whole DNC, the whole Democratic Party is acting like Steve Urkel. Did I do that? Oh, the machines don't work. Did I do that? Give me some cheese, please. Oh, we're not open. Oh, did I do that? California voters faced a tough time at the polls Tuesday, with many voters saying they have encountered broken machines, polling sites that open late, and incomplete voter rolls, particularly in Los Angeles County. You don't say. The result? Instead of a quick in and out vote, many California voters were handed the dreaded pink provisional ballot. You know, the one that doesn't count. It takes longer to fill out, longer for election officials to verify, and which tends to leave voters wondering whether their votes will be counted. This year's presidential primary race has already been one of the most bitter in recent memory. Before Tuesday's vote, Bernie Sanders supporters accused the media of depressing Democratic turnout by calling the nomination for Hillary Clinton before polls opened in California. That could hurt voter turnout when people think there's no reason to vote because somebody already won. Let's see what they say, guys. Those feelings haven't gotten any less raw Tuesday as hundreds of Californians complained of voting problems to the National Nonpartisan Voter Hotline run by the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law. It's difficult to get a sense for how widespread the problems now are or how they compare to recent elections. But experts say the culprit for Tuesday's voting problem seems to be a confluence of factors. See, that's that word, guys. One of them words, confluence. That's when a bunch of crap just happens. It's a series of events that always seem to go in the favor of Hillary. See, every time, guys, there's a confluence of events at a voting in a state during a primary or a caucus, Hillary wins. See, these confluences, which are supposed to be haphazard, no rhyme or reason, just things that go on, like you drop some coins out your pocket, and some of them are going to land on tails and some are going to land on heads. Some may land in a drunk man's pocket, but they just land. But see, unlike that, when these confluences and situations occur at voting places, they always land all heads up. Meaning they always land so that Hillary wins. Every time there's a confluence, which would go against the whole idea of it being a confluence. Because anyone out there who bets knows there's a thing called odds. All things being equal, 50% odds is pretty much what happens. But see, when you start talking like that, they call you a conspiracy theorist. I call it doing the real math. You know, flip a coin. Half the time it'll be tails, the other half of the time it'll be heads. But when it's 95% of the time tails, you need to make sure the coin has two sides on it. Experts say the culprit for Tuesday voting seems to be a confluence of factors. Old voting machines. They just became old that day. Competitive election that has drawn new voters. Oh, new voters. I wonder where those new voters are coming. Oh, that's right. 80% of new voters are voting for Bernie. A problem with those people, huh? Yeah. Just so happens to affect new voters. Plus complex state voting laws that can be hard for poll volunteers and voters to follow, especially when you give your poll volunteers, inaccurate information. Like telling people to take a provisional ballot. All right, guys. Presidential primary elections in California are the hardest elections of all. This election reminds me of 2008 in that regard, said Kim Alexander, president of the nonpartisan California Voter Foundation. Voter registration deadline is 15 days before Election Day, and that gives all the counties, and especially LA County, very little time to get their polling places rosters updated with all the voters. When Sanders supporter Brandon Silverman, 29, showed up at his polling station in Echo Park at 8:15, he said poll workers immediately handed him a provisional ballot. Here you go. Explaining that their machine wasn't working yet. The full list of voters' names for the precincts also seemed to be missing. Silverman, an assistant television editor, quickly called a Sanders voter hotline, and LA County voting officials, about 45 minutes later, the problem seemed to be resolved. Just magic. And he was able to cast a regular ballot. He said, but the chaos shook his confidence in the fairness of the electoral process a little, especially after hearing other precincts and states struggle with voting problems this year. I tend to agree with most of the Bernie supporters who are disappointed in the media's handling of the superdelegate counts, but I tend to shy away from people saying it's stolen or rigged. I'd like to not think the worst. But at a certain point, you think, is it a coincidence? Man, I'm so glad you cleared that up for us there, Silverman. I'd like not to think the worst too, but when the worst is happening, I tend to think the worst. It doesn't make you a negative person to believe what your eyes are showing you. Somebody walked right now by my garage and said, Tim, you N-word. I could think they mean it in a nice way. Oh, I could think the worst, like they mean it in a negative way. Guess what? That's not my fault. It's called being able to perceive. It's up to them not to get punched in the mouth. In Bell, Albert County, or Gray, in Bell, Albert Gray showed up, who's this, at the polling site Tuesday morning to find that the voting counting machine seemed to be jammed, and there didn't seem to be a supervisor on site, so he left without voting. You are an idiot. I still have my ballot. I'm going to go back, see if the machine is working, and if it is, I'm going to vote. Don't seem that stressed out about casting that vote, do you, buddy? Nah. You go right ahead. Probably were a Hillary supporter because you're not too enthusiastic. That tends to be a trademark of the Hillary clan. They just want to win. On social media, many California voters reported showing up to their polling sites only to find that their names were not listed on the voting rolls, leaving them to cast a provisional ballot. This is the stuff they're not talking about on CNN. Why would they care about how Hillary won? They don't care. Why do you care? Something's wrong with you, boy. What you doing worried about why things do what they do? You don't need to know why. You just need to know that they are. Sanders supporter Jonathan Daniel Brown accused Democrats of purging votes. Get him, Jonathan Daniel Brown. When he discovered he was not on the voting rolls at his polling station despite being registered. That's right. Brown, an actor, refused to take a provisional ballot, and his complaints drew the attention of Los Angeles County Registrar County Clerk Dean Logan, who intervened. What'd you do, Dean? Did you get it straight for us? Why didn't you get it straight before he said something? Oh, I see. Because, see, my man Jonathan Daniel Brown has a lot of Twitter followers, and when he tweeted it, people saw it. So if you don't have a lot of Twitter followers and you complain, nothing's going to happen. It's all about how much noise you can make. Put a little stank on it. Eventually, Brown said he was allowed to cast a regular ballot, though not before Brown said a poll worker called the police on him. Yeah, they called the cops on him. Why? He wanted a regular ballot. Dangerous voter here. Dangerous voter trying to execute his rights. Lock him up. It only took 4 hours and I had the cops called on me, but hey, I voted. Los Angeles County's 4,700 polling locations have handled rosters for 4.9 million voters. The process can be complicated as many of the voters on those rosters can register or switch their party preferences up to 15 days before the election. Yeah, we know. Is this a new process? Then why did we have so much problems this time that we didn't have last time? Why the problems? In an interview with the Times, Logan said there were some instances where supplemental rosters of new voters didn't seem to make it to the polls on time, and no voters have gotten frustrated with having to take provisional ballots. Some voters, or so voters, have become pissed off, frustrated, because they had to take provisional ballots. Because we know, guys, when you take a provisional ballot, this is what's really going on. This is what you need to know. You take a provisional ballot, hey, okay, yeah, well, thank you for voting. Yeah, okay now. Kobe, yeah, that was your vote. Thank you for taking that provisional ballot. Yeah, this you? Okay, thank you. We're going to take good care of that. We got you, no problem. Kobe. Hey. That's what happens. American voting, where an educated voter is our best customer. In an interview with the Times, Logan already said that there's no doubt there's an emotional element to this, Logan said, alluding to the passions around the presidential campaign. It's very unusual in California that we have candidates for president who are here the day before an election. Although some voters hesitate to take provisional ballots because they aren't counted immediately, about 85 to 90% of provisional ballots are typically found to be legitimate and are counted toward the final official vote, Logan said. Really? Prove it, Logan. Go ahead and prove it, man. Because you notify people to let them know, right? You got count. You got numbers to show us who gets counted and who doesn't, right? We look at every one of those ballots, Logan said. If a ballot is legitimate, he said, then that ballot does get counted in the trash can. I mean, for the candidate they voted for, it was a faux pas. Sarah Sprague tweeted this. She said, despite getting sample ballot, double checking my status, I wasn't on the voter roll. Upset doesn't even begin. Writer Allison Bloom, 41, took her kids with her when she went to vote at the Kahal Joseph Congregation Synagogue in Westwood on Tuesday morning. I wanted to show them what voting means. Oh, this is not going to go good at all. Bloom said, but when she arrived, she said vote workers couldn't boot up the voting counting machines. Bloom left behind her ballot with a worker promising it would be counted. Bloom said her kids asked, is this what it's like, Mama? Will you go here, Miss Bloom? Yo, I got you, Miss Bloom. Oh, you voted for Bernie. Okay. All right. See ya. Kobe. Steph Curry. I don't make up the analogies. I just perform them. Well, I do make them up. I write my own stuff. Contact me at timsake2@gmail.com. I do speeches too. I come to your town and give you a great speech. So, besides the fact that voting was chaotic, people suddenly who voted for years weren't on the ballot, despite the fact that my Facebook just crashed on my Facebook Live. There are other reasons why Hillary Clinton was able to win in California. We'll get to that in just a moment. This show is brought to you today by H.A. Goodman, author, and my sidekick, friend, partner in crime when it comes to doing videos. He will be back Monday for a new segment we like to call Keeping Them Honest. That's right. So tune in at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Mondays for Keeping Them Honest with Tim and H.A. See if we can get Facebook Live back here working. I'm getting a lot of broadcast failures when I'm trying to do my shows now. I wonder if it's the content. I wouldn't want to be thinking the worst. Let's just try again. I don't know what's going on. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Facebook Live. How you doing? So besides the fact that polling problems cause chaos, people who have been voting Democrat for several years have all of a sudden lost their affiliation. New voters had problems. Mothers took their kids to learn about the voting process, only to be hit in the face with voting machines that don't work. Even a young man being arrested or nearly arrested for wanting to cast his ballot on a traditional ballot, not a provisional ballot. There is another reason why Hillary was able to win, besides the cheating in the media and announcing that she'd already won before she has. Besides all that stuff. Primary takeaways. Clinton coalition never cracked and Trump turns to the fall. Okay. Hillary Clinton claimed the Democratic presidential nomination on Tuesday and appealed to the country to reject Donald Trump as a candidate unfit for the presidency. Mrs. Clinton finished strong in her longer than expected primary battle with Senator Sanders. See, it's all over. She won, guys. Don't you go adding up numbers and stuff. You stop counting. That's what's wrong with you, Bernie Sanders supporters. You like counting things. First you do research about Hillary to get a clear view of her. Wrong. Then now you want to count what kind of votes she got. Like if they're delegates, superdelegates, or pledged delegates. And you want to make a distinction because they aren't the same thing. Wrong again. Don't you see she's a woman? What's wrong with you? The Clinton coalition never cracked. The final Democratic primary shaped up much like the first round in February as a contest between Mrs. Clinton's coalition of women older voters and non-whites, and Mr. Sanders' base of whites, rural voters, and young people. That broad matchup budged only a little over the course of the race, handing Mrs. Clinton victory in all the biggest, most populous, diverse, and delegate-rich states. That's right. Blackie, Latinos, Native Americans, and Asians, and women. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You did it for her. Way to go. Mrs. Clinton's firm base of support repelled Mr. Sanders repeatedly in states like Illinois, New York, and Ohio, and again in California and New Jersey on Tuesday night. Mrs. Clinton will also rely on this situation or this coalition in the general election. And she indicated as much with a victory speech stressing the long fight for women's equality in politics and themes of inclusion and racial tolerance. That's right. Trump is bigot. Trump a bigot. That's what it's going to be. Be prepared for a long run of Trump hate women and Trump is racist. Only problem is that's all she's going to be able to say. She's not going to be able to say he's stealing money or he got a foundation that's money laundering and taking money from foreign countries. And it may get indicted by the FBI. No, won't be able to say none of that, but she'll be able to say Trump is a bigot and he don't like women. And that's what the Democrats want to hang their hat on this election. That's what they believe will sell. Because Hillary's got that hot sauce in her purse, man. Got that hot sauce. Some of this is just rhetorical nonsense. This is drivel. I can't read all this to you because I'm afraid that some of you will go burn down the New York Times. Mr. Sanders demonstrated on Tuesday night why Mrs. Clinton may want him as an ally in the fall campaign. He showed on Tuesday that he is capable of attacking Mr. Trump in stinging language, saying that the Trump's campaign's major theme is bigotry. But for now, Mr. Sanders appears determined to defy his adopted party and extend his run in a race that is already resolved. Wow. It's already resolved, guys. That's because the superdelegates care more about their jobs and their money and the email list of Hillary Clinton than they actually care about who can win against Trump and whose policies are better for the people. That's really what it comes down to, people. So that's it, guys. It is. Bernie Sanders will go to the convention. He will contest the convention. That's what we'll have. Regardless of what happens today, well, I should say next week in D.C., my hometown, Hillary Clinton will not have the requisite number of delegates in order to clinch the nomination. It doesn't matter what they tell you in mainstream media. What matters is that you know the truth. And the truth is, we go into that convention. And the truth is, we will see what happens then. This is a revolution, and that's the most important part. Now, what is a revolution really? It's when people stand up. It's when people join together to overturn a system. My thing is this. Is it possible, guys, just possible, that the idea of us overturning a system would occur by using the system? Just something I was thinking about last night as I was putting away an IPA beer, doing a little tweet, watching a little TYT, and cheering for Jimmy Dore. Oh, and Bernie Sanders, and all of us. But seriously, is it possible to overturn a system strictly from within the system? I don't think it is. I think it needs to be a combination effect of internal and external factors that overturn the system. Our pressure from the outside will force change on the inside, and our pressure from the inside will force change on the outside. You got to have both things, a confluence, convergence. We got to have these things going on in order to make change. So, guys, you need to bear up. Chest up, head up, and be prepared to go forward, man, because we can't give up on this. I said it before, I'm going to keep saying it. There are no easy revolutions. We know this. If you ever heard of an easy revolution, that would be no revolution at all, right? Right. A vote for Hillary is a vote for Trump, period. I don't care what agreement maybe possibly they had with Trump in the beginning. Trump want to win this thing, and he will win this thing if it's against Hillary. That's what I firmly believe. I'm Tim Black. I want to thank you all for being here. Let me do some shout outs while I still have you, but while the system's still working, because they keep shutting down on my Facebook crew. Heather Ward, we are the revolution. This is what is so important. Thank you, Heather, for keeping it real. Amy O'Connell, taking political science. Mary Jane, Stephanie Gonzalez, Florence Ferguson, Sarah Moyer, Robin Luther, Judy Collin, Lana Dale, Diane Renward, Keir Hardy, Jackie Jeffries, Elaine Bennett, Mary Jane Smith Cook, Dicey B, Lulu St. James, Mary Klein, my man Momo Pineno. Momo says last night Jimmy Dore saved his life. Jimmy's my guy, man. And you know what was funny? I tweeted to Jimmy Dore that Jank was drunk. And look, being drunk ain't the worst thing, right? And at least that would show that he had a little bit of emotional issues concerning last night's outcome in California. But what was funny is that Jimmy Dore kept it so real, he actually told Jank. And Jank responded on the air, guys. I don't know if you caught that. I have the tweet to prove it. And Jank says, I've never been drunk on the air. And he laughed, you know. But it's funny. And I just want to give a shout out to Jimmy Dore and Jank Huger for being good sports about that. You know, I didn't say he was a crackhead. I didn't say he was out there smoking crack, you know, or shooting heroin or something. I said he was drunk. And after all of the tumultuous, the roller coaster ride, I know a lot of us had a drink last night. So, you know, it's not the worst thing, guys. Not a bash, really. All right. But I do disagree with Jank Huger with the whole, well, Bernie should step down. Forget political clout. All right. Elaine. Jody. Did I already get everyone? I know I didn't get everyone. Did I? Matthew. What's up, Matthew? Good to see you, Matthew. And is that everybody? Torsha. Hey, Torsha, my friend. And Linda Seduth. And Torsha Childs. Annuity Francisco and Fred Lexo. Sean Hertz. Matthew Messer. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you being here. You guys are fantastic. To my people on YouTube land, Tim Black's Wolfpack, thank you so much for staying the course and being here and knowing that we are the revolution. Like my friend said, we are the revolution. We are the difference, guys. It's what we do from here on, man. It's what we do after. We cannot do what happened in 08, which is we got great ideas and we just let them go to the wayside and we just sit back and cut on TV, start watching Game of Thrones and forget what we are here to do. There's a lot of distractions we have in the United States. D. Alfredo Watcher, Jojo Graz, CB, Riley Blade, Jojo, Biology 24able, Anika Collins and Rusty Shack, Jimmy Stone and Kate Mozart, Liberty Not a License, my man Michael, Momo Pineno, Iron Man Oz, What I Rap, Antonio Hendricks, Joseph Moore, Pierre Dessalines, yeah, Jensen Carmichael, and we fight to Philly, Will Craig. That's right, we fight to Philly. We don't give up. Q DeMaio, we go green, 619. Low key, we are Philly or bust. I love it. Philly or bust. Jimmy Stone and Krishna Dunjail and the Broken Carpenters in the house. Guys, Citizen Dab says, we got the contested convention. We know it, and we're going to go for it. Sheila Ellis. Thank you, Sheila Ellis. Austin Kane and Call Me Trip. And Sharon Rance and Kate Mozart and Judge Star X and my whole crew are here today. And comment if you want to shout out. That makes it easier than scrolling. If you're here, Van Reilly. Stacia. H.G. Osby. That's right, guys. We are here. We will not be moved. And most definitely, we will not yield. Give it up for Grandma Christine 42 and Mona Day and Marius Romanus. That's right. Ain't nobody taking my cornbread. Marius Romanus. Austin Boyce. J Vintage 70, 1970. Hey, hun. I have great people, and I have no problem showing love, man. I want to thank you all for having my back. We got more videos coming. This video will be released in its entirety. What we will be doing soon, guys, is I'm going to be offering a membership, sort of like TYT, sort of like that, where you have access to every show. That will be 2 shows a day for a total of at least 10 shows a week, not even counting other videos that we do. On the side, videos we do on issues that happen that are not within the show. All right. So for a small monthly thing or whatever, or a yearly thing or whatever we work out, people will be able to access every piece of content. So that will be what? 20 times 4. That'll be 80 shows a month, at least. I don't think you can beat that. I don't think anyone else does that. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being here. I will see you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where the saga continues. The battle royale continues, man. Nothing's over. We still Sanders. We still keep going. If he can stay in it, you can stay in it. You can do it. We can do it together. I'm Tim Black. Oh, help me get to the convention, guys. I need your help to get to the convention. Very important. Very, very important. Let me give you the link for the convention link. We're doing well, and I want to give a shout out, a super shout out to anyone. I don't care if you gave $5 to $3. Anyone who helped so far to donate to my GoFundMe for me to go to the convention and to Flint, Michigan. I got to go to Flint, Michigan, even if I got to drive to Flint. All right? Serious. From Philly. I appreciate you. All right? Thank you. Pound it out, guys. Much love. I'm Tim Black. I'm out. I'll see you tonight on the show, okay? Roll it. Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black. All right, guys. Feel the burn. Next time.